So I'm squaring up my blocks to 12 inches before I stitch my rows together. And one thing that I discovered was the way I had them pressed to the dark, my seams were not going to nest properly because I had both of them going to the outside on the tops and bottoms. And so that made a problem because they wouldn't nest. They need to have one going one way and one going the other way. Sometimes you can't help that, especially on certain kinds of blocks, but here it would have been a problem to change the star because of all these seams. So I went ahead and just changed the block, the square, the one with the squares, and I'm pressing those to the inside, and then these will be pressed to the outside. So hopefully that'll make sense. Okay, so here is my first one. I've got these going this way and these going in. So these are going out and these are going in now. So they should nest properly. We all learn from our mistakes. If you never try anything, you never learn anything though, right? Alright, so this will be my first 2 blocks of my first row. Now I may set these up where I can chain piece them later, but for right now I just want to do the first row. Okay, now I'm going to wait until I can take this over to the big ironing board and do all of these seams at the same time before I sew the next row onto it. Alright, these are pressed to this way, so these need to be pressed in. Like I said, I can change these with the squares easier than I can the one with the stars. Should have thought about that earlier. I usually put sashing between my blocks, so I don't have to worry about that. But with this one, I'm not doing sashing because otherwise I couldn't get all 4 blocks in the space that I want to put it in. I will put a border on it, however. Alright, now let's see. I have it the way I want it to go. Okay, that will nest. All right. Like I said, once I get this row together, I'll take it over to the big ironing board and press it. Press these seams. Everything else is pressed. I'll have to just press these seams in the way I want them to go. And we'll see what that turns out to be. I could open them up and press them open. I might consider that. Okay, now I need my other star block. Yeah, I had squared up the other blue one because it was on the top of my stack, but then I remembered that I have 2 of this color and 2 of my other blue, but only 1 of that, so I wanted to put it not at the beginning, somewhere else. Alright, here we go. There's my first row. So cute. Alright, this time I have two put together so I can do both of these and then put these two together. And I'm just going to glance up there and see what needs to go next. It's this blue one. So it'll be like that. Love the way this is coming out. So here was the first row that I did. So I'll lay it back up there. And I already have my backing on here and I'm using a flannel, a pink flannel. So it'll be nice and soft, warm. Here is the second row that I did. So what I'm doing is I'm laying it up here so that I can see the order that I'm putting them in. Here's row 1, here's row 2. Now row 3, for row 3, this moves over to this space, and then everybody else moves down one. See how that works? And I want to make sure that, let me see which blue I want. I've already used that one and that one. So this is the one that's all by itself, but it's the only color of blue. So it'll go in the center. There's 5 rows, so this will be on row 3. Is just pin these two together and those two together, and then take them over and stitch those two up like I did the last ones. I have my 2 bottom rows clipped together. And the reason I did the bottom ones first is because they are the last ones I worked on, so they were on the top. So what I did was I just went in and pressed the seams on this one way, the seams where I joined the blocks, and press the ones on the other block the opposite way. So hopefully that will work out really well. I am going to back stitch here. Two bottom rows are together. Okay, I'm ready to pin the middle row onto this one because I have 5 rows. All done with the top, unless I decide to put some borders, which I probably will. Put a small border all the way around. I'll have to see what I have the most fabric of. I have 3 borders on. I just like one more. Having all of my borders on this little cute quilt. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that on and stitch it on. Then all I'll have to do is press those seams and it'll be ready to quilt. I'm just trying to make sure that I flip the seams the way that they are stitched as I'm going along here. And I'm trying to make sure that I pull the borders kind of a little bit taut, just a little bit, so that they don't wind up with waves in them for me to have to worry about quilting. I did my 2 long sides first. I always do that, and then my top and bottom. I know some people do it opposite. It doesn't really matter. That's just the way I do it. Okay. One more clip. There it is. Now just take this over to the sewing machine and run my 1/4 inch seam down along there. I usually take a little bit wider 1/4 inch. I'm not real stingy with my 1/4 inch on these. All right, here we go. Last border. Okay, it's ready for the long arm. Like I said, I've already got the backing pinned onto the long arm. Oh, it's not quite ready for the long arm. I have to take it to the ironing board and press all of these plus my seams where I sew my rows together. I have to do that. And then it'll be ready for the long arm once I get some batting cut. There's that border. I think it's cute. I just like to, a lot of times I like to, instead of just having the same block over and over, I like to put something different in there and have a separate block, even if it's just two different ones. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just do squares, but most of the time I'll put something other than the squares in with it. It's different when you get the borders on it. It gives it a little bit more of a finished look to it. It's a nice size throw quilt. I think my great-granddaughter will enjoy it with her friends. Hopefully. Or all on her own even. Alright, I'll get back to you when I get this on the long arm and see what we can, how cute we can make it. I've got to figure out a design. I'm all free motion, so something kind of easy. Thanks for watching Simply Quilting.